welcome you to this special technology summit as a part of our Economic Development Day. This is our second year of the Technology Summit portion of Economic Development Day and the second year of our STEAM initiative. As many of you know, we're familiar with STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. The Harlem Week Board wanted to focus more on technology, and last year we determined we were going to do a STEAM initiative to add arts into the acronym, and that's how we get STEAM for our acronym for what we're doing with our technology initiative. And it is something that we are doing throughout Harlem Week. We started on our first public day, July 31st, with a technology pavilion as a part of a great day in Harlem. We continued on this past Saturday at City College of New York, where we did our youth conference and hackathon. Today we are here as we have our special technology summit, which you'll hear from established panelists and speakers, and of course a couple of very special honorees. And then we also, on August 20th, as a part of our children's festival, we have a special activity for children that is around the STEAM initiative as well. And then we will continue this throughout the year. We are pleased to be able to work with our partner, Silicon Harlem, in making sure that we can pull all of this together. And as we continue to increase the awareness of the technology availability and the technology knowledge in general of the Harlem community, we couldn't have a better partner than Bruce Lincoln and Clayton Banks of Silicon Harlem. They've been invaluable to us at Harlem Week as well as the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce. And with that, to take you through the rest of the program, I'm going to introduce co-founder of Silicon Harlem, Clayton Banks.
Thank you, Marco, and thank you, audience, for that enthusiastic clapping. How about one more time for Clayton Banks? Come on now. So we're very honored to be a part of this program. This is Economic Development Day here as part of Harlem Week. And what that essentially means is we're part of the business movement in Harlem and uptown. And it's so good. It's so good to see so many of my friends and colleagues here, people from my cable days, like Peter Flood up front, and folks here from my other parts of my tech days, running my own software company, and Jerry Warren. Listen, there's great people here, and it's just exciting for me to see that we're all still doing a lot of great work to move communities forward. So I just want to take two or 3 minutes to just quickly talk about Silicon Harlem, and then I want to get right to the most powerful people, two of the most powerful people in our city in just a moment. So I'd like for everyone to save the date, if you will. October 21st, we are having our third annual tech conference in Harlem. It is the only real sort of comprehensive technology and innovation conference that takes place all in Harlem. And we're proud of that because the exact same type of conference in Midtown or downtown would cost 10 times as much. And we have great speakers, great sessions, great technology that we share. This year we're adding cultural insights. So you'll be able to see how experts talk about what's happening in the media and how that's impacting our communities as well. So we are excited about that. We hope you save the date. The registration opens August 15th. So this particular event, as well as the luncheon we just came from, is being streamed on our website. So for those of you who are tweeting, you can tweet out that your friends can watch us right now on siliconharlem.net. It is live right now. Our mission at Silicon Harlem is to continue to transform Harlem into a tech and innovation hub. And that is sort of setting the environment for young people, for all of us, for seniors, everyone, to participate in this robust sharing and innovation economy. Part of our goal is to ensure that the infrastructure of Upper Manhattan is on par with any place in the world. That means working with the incumbents, working with emerging technologies to ensure we have the fastest, most affordable broadband possible. So Silicon Harlem works on these types of initiatives daily. One of the things we worked on with a whole bunch of people in the past year or so was working on how to create or how to have broadband be considered for lifeline access, which is what we get for our phones right now. For the senior citizens and for low-income homes, they have a lower price on their monthly phone charge. We were able to fight hard to get broadband in consideration of that lifeline access. So now a senior citizen or someone on a fixed income or low income can get broadband at $9.95, and the telcos are offering that. So we're very proud of that. And we are continuing to work on the initiatives around science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The idea is to ensure that young people are coming up with those skills. We're not saying that everyone's going to become a programmer or a coder or any of that, but we are saying that the 21st century jobs, 21st century companies, industries, skills are going to require some level of tech literacy. So it's important that the young people grow up with that as part of their education and use that. We just finished an academy that right after this event I have to go to a graduation where we took 20 kids through a summer intensive, 5 straight weeks, and the outcome is that they have a new way to look at problems. One of the things I like to teach is called computational thinking. And the whole idea behind computational thinking is to break down a problem and really figure out how to solve it. So we asked them to solve a problem such as how do we migrate people to Mars. So they try to figure that whole piece out, how to migrate people to Mars and all the components that are involved. You'll be surprised. This is not an issue of intelligence for people. This is just simply access and exposure. I have a friend, there's friends all over the country and all over the world that do really cool things with young people, but there's one that in Compton loves flying helicopters, opened up an academy to teach people in the neighborhood how to fly helicopters. 100% have graduated. It's not a matter of intelligence, it's a matter of access and exposure. So we at Silicon Harlem believe in that. We believe in urban markets. We know a lot of millennials are loving living in cities. We understand the movement of a gig economy where you take on a gig for a few months, make a bunch of money, and then go to Hawaii. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that we understand, and we want to make sure that communities like Harlem and communities like it are not being left behind on this type of thing. So a lot of this is just giving people access and exposure. At the end of the day, we still want our businesses to thrive. We want businesses in Uptown, all throughout New York City. We are one city. We want everyone to find economic prosperity through innovation, through technology, but also just through your passion. And so we try to create an environment where that can happen. And I'm glad that today we get to share it with two of the people that I think have demonstrated that on so many different levels. So let me transition into our honorees, because this is maybe the highlight of my year so far, that I get to talk about two people I have so much respect for. And our first honoree is not only the leader in Manhattan, but she is also a passionate friend to everyone that's living in Manhattan. I mean, if I'm anywhere in Manhattan, I see Gale Brewer. I don't know if you know, but Gale Brewer does not sleep. She's got a cot in every corner of Manhattan. So she is everywhere, and I love her for that. More importantly, just historically, if you look at Gale Brewer's career, she's dedicated her life to public service. She's been really focused on fairness, closing the inequality that we have on so many levels, whether that's education, whether that's income, whether that's access, whether that's housing. Gale Brewer has been at the helm. She's been on the city council. She's our borough president. She starts all types of initiatives, and her staff can tell you they go blind looking at the various initiatives that she's got going. But personally, for me, the thing that she did for me is not only has she been a huge supporter of Silicon Harlem, but when I said to Gale, you know, I'm very interested in doing more. You know, I love what I'm doing with Silicon Harlem. I love teaching. I love doing a lot of things that I'm doing. I love doing software development, which I do for a lot of companies. But I felt like I could still do more. And just on a sort of slight way, but 60 days later, I was made a commissioner of the city. And that was because of Gale Brewer. And I'm still a commissioner on that. So, as people are coming in, I do want to acknowledge that my co-founder has arrived, because we have our graduation, so we're kind of running back and forth to 125th Street. But Bruce, we're about to award Gale. That's Bruce Lincoln back there. Come up front, Bruce. I know you wanted to make a quick couple of comments about Gale before we give her. We got $1 million check here for you, Gale.
No, I'm mortified. I don't want $1 million check. I'm just mortified. I hope you get roasted too.
I'm going to make it short, but I think what we should understand is that if you talk about equity as a driving principle for all people, that is the means whereby we can characterize Gale Brewer. And she's been a supporter of Silicon Harlem because she's been a supporter of this mission of everyone having access to broadband as a matter of social justice. And this goes back to when we could both play basketball. and you know, I'm trying to be polite, not really date us, but what we see happening in the city today, where things are being driven from the level of this current administration, it didn't just start today. It's an accumulation of the efforts. And at the center of all of that was Gale Brewer. So we are more than honored to be able to give her this award that she's earned really multiple times prior to this moment that we're now enjoying today. Let's give her a round of applause.
Come on up, Gale. So between Silicon Harlem and the Chamber of Commerce, the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce, let me read this to you, presents its 2016 Outstanding Educational Service Award to the Honorable Gale Brewer as a New York City Technology at our New York City Technology Summit, August 11th.
Oh, it's too much. These two people mean a lot to me. I want to thank the Harlem Chamber of Commerce, Lloyd Williams, and I want to say something great about Winston, too. The other day, we had this wonderful hackathon that these two amazing gentlemen sponsored with young people. And Winston had the more challenging job of introducing all the sponsors. I want to say nobody has ever done it so well. And it's a hard task. And then these two guys had the fun job of working with the young people and the hackathon. So Winston, thank you for making the chamber sing, because that's a hard job, and I want to congratulate you on that. So I am a big supporter of Silicon Harlem because I remember when they started, but I also remember with the love and affection they have approached this issue, because they have made young people, community, and seniors the cornerstone. Working with the chamber has been a wonderful partnership. Even as long ago as 3 years ago or 2 years ago, senior programs where the seniors came and participated and had a tremendous learning opportunity through these two wonderful people. And then, of course, young people, not just part of the senior, part of the summer training and the hackathons, but just as an ongoing push. So I just want to tell you a funny story. So as part of the franchise commission, which we sit on, we signed off on the kiosk, you know, those interesting looking telephone booths, I call them. And so they are moving around the city. We needed to have some uptown, and so we got 40 for the uptown community. That's a good thing, but there's a funny thing. If you've been around as long as Bruce and I, we had brown hair, black hair, me too. We've known each other for probably 40 years. And when we started, the phone booths were crackheads, because obviously what we had to do was cut off the phone coming in, because drug dealers would use it as their telephone booth. So I spent all the years working for Ruth Messinger cutting off the Verizon incoming phone call. I knew exactly how to do it and who to call. That's what I did for 10 years. Okay. Fast forward to 2016. I like Dan Doctoroff. He's in charge of all these new kiosks. Jerry, you'll love this story. So what happens is the kiosks are coming in. I said to the great, very esteemed Dan Doctoroff, you're going to have a big problem. The drug dealers are going to figure out a way of accessing for hours and hours your fancy new kiosk. Oh, no, says Dan Doctoroff. That's not going to happen. We have everything. Just go to 3rd Avenue and 14th Street right now, and you'll see. I always said I want the bench contract for the new kiosks, because then I could sit there all day and watch movies and have a nice time. If you go to 3rd Avenue and 14th Street right now, there's benches all around, man-made benches, ones that, the crates and the ones that we get from the grocery store. And we pile them up, we sit down, we sit there all day. Exactly what I said was going to happen. So I say all this story not to say that they aren't a good thing. We can plug in, charge, etc. There are issues, but it's not the answer to broadband. We need real municipal free broadband for this city. And that's something that, working with Silicon Harlem, we need to really work on. And it's their goal also. And secondly, it's been a pleasure. We passed the open data bill I did in the city council. And it's such an honor to work with Bruce and Clayton, because they understand that data, that's why I'm in this business, is your data. You paid for it. City agencies now have to put their database on a portal. Sounds good, but the issue, of course, is it has to be known and understood by the community. Jobs need to come out of it. We need to know exactly what's going on with our city agencies. So that's something, again, that Silicon Harlem understands without getting into too many specifics. So there's a lot more work to be done. Schools, principals' #1 request is faster broadband coming into the school, and then, of course, all the hardware and software that goes with it, and the challenges of the charter school having the PC or the iPad, and the regular public school kids having the cart and feeling like a second-class citizen. I could go on and on. But the schools in general need a lot of support in terms of technology, and they're working. Again, Silicon Harlem is working with the schools in Harlem. So I'm just here, I'm almost crying, because these two guys mean so much. Thank you very much.
Gale Brewer, how about that? So, we have another honoree, and I'm so excited about her as well. You may think it's an overstatement when I say this, but this young lady, if you don't know who she is, Kalanji, you know who she is, right? Kalanji over there knows who she is. There's people in this audience who know who she is. But this is Jessica O. Matthews, and I have to tell you, we talk about how money is spent in various communities. And for those of you who never maybe been to a black church, the black church will say that $1 will circulate in a black community in 30 seconds. In other communities, it can circulate 6, 7, 8 times. What that means is we're not spending money in certain markets the way or keeping money in certain markets the way we should. And I'm starting this introduction out with that because this young lady has moved her business from downtown to Harlem in the last couple of months. And in that move, I could be getting the number under or over, but somewhere in the neighborhood of $50,000 has already been spent in the community by this company. Hello? Anybody hear me? That's no small thing. Some of us wish we made $50,000 in a year, all right? So she has poured money into the community, hiring locally, contracting people locally. She has an incredible company. Write this down if you don't know. Her company is called Uncharted Play. Uncharted Play. And what her company is doing is revolutionizing how we create energy. I don't know if this mic is working, but I'm going to tell you something. I just talked about Thomas Edison. Some people have compared her to Elon Musk. Obama has her on speed dial. Everybody hear me? This is a bad woman. Bad woman. I'm telling you. Hear me good. Over 12, I think it's around 12 patents. Am I right, Nick? 12 patents. This is no joke. This is a real business person in her 20s. Hello? Okay. I could go on, and I'd like to, because, you know, she's a boss. She's a boss, and I admire her. More importantly, I'm in her corner, big time, and all of you should be as well. This is going to be Harlem's first billion-dollar business. So we are honored. We are honored to present to the founder and CEO of Uncharted Play, Jessica O. Matthews. Let me read you from both Silicon Harlem and the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce. Well, we present this 2016 outstanding, this is not even like half of it, but Business Achievement Award. She's more like, you know, World Achievement Award. Her technology is being used all over Africa, in almost every continent. Think about it. She has, what you've read about her is she has this great, her lead product was and is what's called the socket ball. How many heard of the socket ball? Okay, the rest of you are going to hear about it right now. Socket ball is a soccer ball that can turn into a light. So what happens, what she's invented is the ability for movement to create energy. So she's put her technology inside of a ball, let the kids play with the ball all day. The movement creates the power. They stick an adapter into the ball and they can read at night. Whereas certain countries and certain places, there's no light at night. She's solving beyond energy. It's just saving lives. She's now moving that technology into anything that moves. Hello? Anything that moves. Okay, she's like, get on with it, Clayton. Jessica O. Matthews.
Wow. Hi, everybody. I wasn't expecting all of that. Hi, I'm Jess. I'm Jessica O. Matthews, but you can call me Jess. And I'm so honored to be here. Thank you so much, the organizers of Harlem Week. Thank you so much, Clayton and Bruce and Silicon Harlem. We would not be up here if it wasn't for them. Like, we just wouldn't. And so it's just, you know, what they're doing with us, they're going to do with so many other startups. And, like, I'm just so excited to have them in our corner. And also, I do also want to plug that their conference really is amazing and incredible to have up in Harlem, October 21st. I'm going to be there. So I don't know where you're going to be, but I'm going to be there. So please, like, it's just, this is exciting. So I'm going to keep this brief. I mean, I'll tell you a little bit about what we do, you know, but I also am going to tell you, I think, about how we do it. And I think that's really what makes this so important to me and important to our team and to our community that's been supporting us. It's not just about what we do and how it's really about why we do it the way we do it. So I run a company called Uncharted Play, and we're on a mission to democratize energy access. And what that really means is creating energy generating products, partnering with different types of companies to create amazing products that actually harness the way we move, the way we live, because if you're alive, you should be moving, right? And it takes that literally and turns that into power that you can use in a meaningful way. Whether it's a soccer ball, as Clayton mentioned, that you can kick around and then get power at night, or it's a stroller that you can push down the sidewalk and then be able to charge your cell phone at a faster rate than you would get if you were powering it from a wall, or integrating it into...
Whoa. Anybody hear that? You got a real... And you got the contract for...
Yeah, it's true. We are actually in development for that, and we're working on floor panels. So many awesome things for infrastructure. Talking about a smart city, I mean, we have prototypes in our office where if you sit on a bench, you can power Wi-Fi. We're just waiting to do some cool stuff. Gale, let's talk. Let's do some stuff. And it's exciting. We started out with Play, where we are a global company, but we're very much a local company as well, in what we want to do and what we're building. And it's our mission not just to change the way people generate energy, but to change the way people consume energy, and indeed to build an actual energy company. But I think what makes us special is how we do it. So 2 months ago, we closed what is currently the largest Series A round that any black woman has ever raised in history.
Wow.
And then immediately decided to shut down our fancy, Tribeca office and come up to Harlem, because it sounded like the right way to. So we didn't raise money and leave. We raised money and came.
Nice.
And so the question is why? Well, as far as I'm concerned, why not? Our team, as we've been growing it here, is 30% people of color, over 50% female. Our executive team is over 60% people of color. I am a black woman. And if I'm going to build this company, after raising, the round in Silicon Valley and all these different places, I was like, I could either code switch to be who I'm not, or I could come where I'm going to be welcome and we can build the new Silicon Harlem. We can build what people are going to be looking to aspire to. And this is, what's funny is that actually, since we last spoke, it's now, within the last 2.5 months, $100,000 that we've invested in the community, in local vendors. We are consciously looking at every single way we can be embedded in helping bring about not gentrification but urban renewal, because there is a difference. Yes. There is a difference, right? How do you engage the legacy members of Harlem and what's going on? And many people ask, well, why Harlem? Why not any other place in the United States? And I tell them, well, HAH, right? H, history. When you think about the Harlem Renaissance and what happened here, the culture and the excitement and the passion, the way we changed America here. I mean, we now have the technological revolution, and how could Harlem not have a role? How can Harlem not play? I'm just blessed to have figured it out before it's too late, to get here before it's too late. And that's what we believe is possible. The second is access to talent. I mean, we're here at Columbia. We have a lot of people from Columbia at our company, right? We have a lot of people from Hunter and City College. I mean, we're around amazing universities up here, so we have access to amazing students who want to do great things. They want to stay in New York. They don't want to go to California to get a great tech job. They want to stay here, and they can do a lot here. The second, when we think about access, is access to diaspora. We are a global company. We're working in several different countries on the African continent and Latin American continent, and it helps to design when you're around people who can say, oh yeah, my cousin could use that. Oh yeah, my aunt, I think really has that problem. We're engaging a global community locally, and we have a benefit from that. I actually feel bad for the guys, my friends out in the Bay right now, who are just looking at the same person day in, day out. I don't know how they're innovating. I feel really bad for them. It's so much easier for us to just get up, go, on the subway, get to work, and you've already seen so much of the world that innovation is it's right there. It's just for us to kind of look and engage and have conversations. And the third, the last H is hustle. This is kind of overall for New York. I mean, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere, right? And I don't think that's ever changed. And so people talk about what's a startup city, and I'm like, well, wasn't New York the first startup city? Because this is where you learn who you are and what you can do and what you can build. And when you come uptown now to Harlem, and we can carve out a place truly for the technological revolution, truly a home for the underdog. Clayton and I have talked about this so many times, like how do we create a community where the underdog can shine and build the future they want, and the hustle that you need to do that, I think it ensures a successful company. It ensures that you have the right mindset as a leader and as an entrepreneur, and it just weeds people out. You know, there were a few people when we made the move uptown, they said, oh, well, I don't know if I can go up there. I don't know what my mom's going to think. And I was like, well, it sounds like your mom doesn't want you to work at Uncharted Play either. Goodbye. It was as simple as that. Because obviously you're not ready for what we're trying to do. Disruption is not a clean word. It's not an easy word. It's a messy word. It requires a need that's so real and inside that you just have to break through. You have to make a change. And that's what it takes to build something. And that's what this community gives us and what it allows us to push forward. And so I am just so happy. I live only 2 blocks away from our office, and this community is just amazing and welcoming, and everyone, we're just building in a way that we never thought we could. And I feel so blessed that you guys have welcomed us, that you guys continue to support us. We're going to be having open houses and more events, and we're always looking to engage. Nick here is my director of community growth. We're trying to grow our community, so please engage with us. And what can I say? I mean, it's exciting for us to work on how we can give a voice to those who have been previously unheard. I think that strategically from a business, it makes sense because something can be groundbreaking just because it's fresh and it's new, and the people who have been leading the technological space, they're not fresh and new. It was what they were coming up with was really exciting 15 years ago, but now it's time for diversity. And you know, they say that the next Einstein is going to be a woman, and she's going to be from Nigeria or India. You know, I'm Nigerian, so obviously I have a hat in the race. Yeah, a little. But, you know, I think, you know, I'll add something. I think it's, you know, she's going to be from Nigeria, she's going to be India. I'm almost damn sure she's going to be from Harlem as well. And so thank you guys. And, yeah, we're ready to grow. Thank you.
You thought I was playing, huh? Jessica O. Matthews. One more time for both Gale and Jessica. So we're going to move the program right along, and I just want to say thanks to everyone who's here. One of our great leaders of the chamber has just joined us, Voza Rivers. Voza, if you can raise your hand over there. And there are some of the young people from our academy are here. If you're from AYLA, please stand up. Okay. They have their ceremony tonight. Sit down. So they have their ceremony tonight, so they decided to come here first. And plenty of the rest of you who've been so helpful to Silicon Harlem, Wayne, and of course the great Tony Rogers, who puts us on the radio and is one of the pioneers of tech in Harlem. So it's just great to see people out. Cultural Insights I talked about for our conference is going to be led by Howard Horowitz and his company who's here, who has joined us, and a dear friend of mine. So this is a great day for us. We're going to go into a panel discussion. I know Jess has to run, and I know Gail's going to have to run, but the rest of you, get ready for a powerful panel discussion that you are going to be involved in. We're actually going to make this an interactive discussion. So, you guys ready over there, the panelists?
We're ready. Let me check her.
Oh, she was so good. Let me shake Jessica's hand. Right. Maybe some of that coin will rub off.
Yes.
I hear you. You saw me hugging her like, yo, what's in your pocket? So, yeah, we are, as long as she can stay, let's keep her here, right? So, and Gale. So, the topic that we want to talk about, though, and you just heard a little bit of insight from Jessica, is how can we, continue to build profits in our companies, not only with social media and et cetera, but basically through strategic partnerships. We got some corporate folks in the audience. I don't know if, for those of you who didn't make the luncheon, Verizon Files was honored, and the great Stephanie Allen and Hortense Ford are both here. Put your hands up. Everybody wants to know where the corporate money is at. So Anyway, it's great to have you guys here, and congratulations on your award earlier. So let's talk about this topic, and I want everyone here to feel like they can get involved in this conversation. How do we drive business profits through strategic partnerships and even social media for that matter? So let me just quickly introduce the panelists. And I'm actually going to have you guys introduce yourselves in terms of telling your bios, but keep it short because that's easier.
Hi, I'm Tanya Pope, and I'm the Assistant Vice President for University Supplier Diversity and Business Integration for Columbia University, Facilities and Operations. That's a mouthful. And what I do is work very hard to make sure that minority and women, and most importantly to us local businesses, are integrated into our procurement and what we buy and what we build, and find those pathways to the people who are buying what you sell and make those matches. My background wasn't always in business development. I spent a lot of years in corporate. I worked for United Airlines and Commerce Clearinghouse, and 10 hard years at MTV Viacom. Actually, Clayton and I were there at the same time. But what I do now is my passion and my love. It's helping companies, tech companies, suppliers, construction companies find a match in a system that wasn't always welcoming to them, and help them to understand how to perform and succeed there.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nicole Valentine. I am an attorney, an author, and a tech founder. I created an app called Winly, and what Winly does is it helps entrepreneurs and business owners see their business from a strategic perspective. So this is a timely conversation about strategic partnerships. I recently released a book called Winning, and in the book, what it walks you through is a methodology on how to move your business from idea to scale. And it walks you through a scorecard, analysis, assessment, and you look at your business and you make the best decisions as a business owner. So this is my product, this is my tool set, and I'm really out here sharing with the world how entrepreneurs can collaborate through business intelligence, through sharing value, and through coming together to make deals so that you can go after the bigger client.
Hi, my name is Sandeep Vardhan. I'm actually a second-year student at Columbia Business School, and I also run a company called Kalpesh Wireless. We are a IoT services firm. IoT is Internet of Things. It's the next big thing in technology. It's about connecting sensors to the physical world and gathering data. And one of the projects that we worked on here in New York City was to evaluate the Harlem Wi-Fi network. Again, it's an IoT problem in the sense that you have a lot of these wireless devices all around. You're collecting a lot of information, and you're obviously allowing people internet access through those as well.
So let's start there, Sandeep. You talked about the wireless sort of job that was taken upon. Talk about that in terms of public-private relationship, okay? We're gonna get to you too, Nicole, on the same question, but how was that experience working with the city, essentially?
So here's the important thing when you run startups. You got to realize that everybody is looking for innovation that betters the life of their citizens. And so if you take that key point and you drive that home and you basically deliver this message that, hey, I'm out here to help your organization get better, the opportunities sort of come alive. And so I ended up going on a trip to D.C. Back last October, a part of our business school. And I got a chance to meet Congressman Rangel. And I spoke to him a little bit about Wi-Fi and how there are great solutions available and how startups can bring value. So the next day I got an email message from his chief of staff, and they connected me over to Silicon Harlem. And soon enough, we ended up speaking with the mayor's office, and we talked about a solution to sort of make the network better. And so it's an example of how you have to sort of be innovative in the sense that you have to look for these opportunities and deliver value. And I think that if you are able to do that, it doesn't matter whether you're Microsoft or a small startup, you can work with the biggest organizations. And I think as an entrepreneur, you really need to really realize that. And I think that's really where it's so empowering.
So if you have an idea for a business, if you have a mobile app idea, maybe you have a software platform idea, or any sort of entrepreneurial idea, you're in the right place. A lot of people here with a lot of skills, so hopefully we can connect and intersect and all that kind of stuff to make you successful. Nicole, entrepreneurialism runs in your family, so talk a little bit about that same sort of topic, how to maximize those relationships between the public and the private, especially for early stage companies, but I'm sure this applies to all types of companies.
Yeah, so I have some experience with the government playbook from kind of an early age. My parents contracted with the government from the education perspective. So if you look at, for example, early childhood education, and the city is delivering that service, offering that service, they're working with vendors, they're working with partners to get that executed in the community. What is that experience in providing a service and working with the city or counties or states and education, boards of education on delivering education? And that has been some of my roots. So if you're a small business and you're not connecting with the government, are you really doing business? And are you servicing the government through products or services, or are you connecting with your government officials to talk about tax incentives or resources or connections through the government network? So, when I work with small businesses, I ask them, what is your government playbook? And a lot of times they say, well, I wasn't thinking about working with the government. And that's what the government is, one of the largest buyers of goods and services. So it's worth it to at least go out and look at the market data in that play to see if that's a play for you. I will share that my parents were in that business for 25 years, and they made great strides in working with the government. But the challenges are you have to have a cash flow strategy. Because when you're working with the government, and you're working with any large Fortune 500 company that wants you to deliver, and the payment of your services or products may be 120 days later or some other time too forward for you, finding a partner to partner with you from a financial perspective, so your cash flow strategy is tight when you're working with a government player or you're scaling up. So those are some things to consider when you're practically going through the contracting, the negotiating, and seeing if this is the right fit for your business.
Can I quickly comment on
Yeah,
that?
definitely say something. I just want to quickly say that we got Ms. Hardy in the audience who, Jessica, you want to meet her before you leave. She definitely certifies businesses, so if you guys are looking to be certified in any sort of way, hook up with my friend over there. Absolutely, don't worry about Jess. You make sure you meet her, but I'll take care of it for you. Yeah.
We have a slew of services, not only for minority and women-owned businesses, and we want to encourage all of you that are eligible to get certified, but a slew of services for emerging businesses, new businesses, loan funding, contract funding. Hello. Hi. It's Kim Hardy from Department of Small Business Services in New York City. I want to encourage you to go to our website at nyc.gov/SBS. We have a slew of services for emerging businesses, including loan funds, technical assistance, right along the lines. Please consider selling to New York City. We're open for business for all of you. Thank you.
All right. New York City, open for, come on! Talking about open for business. That's what we want, exactly. I'm sorry.
So, Kim,
Go
thank you
ahead.
for that supplement, because I don't have to do that part of the spiel. I did want to say that Columbia is, as you know, a very large private institution, and we so believe in strategic partnerships. And sometimes those partnerships are with the public in the way of government agencies, city, state, or federal. We are an institution that gets a lot of grants from the government to study and research things. We are also in an engaged relationship with the public, the community. One thing I'm very excited to mention is that, we're building a little campus down the street on 125th Street.
Just a little.
A little small one, 17 acres. And the first building is going to open in November. There will be 17 ground-up buildings built in that space, and the campus is a completely open campus. We have a lot of engagement with the community, and it will be completely Wi-Fi enabled all the way over to the West Harlem Pier. So that's one of the things that we're giving back. We're inviting people to come there. We're giving them access to the internet when they're there. The other thing I wanted to talk about is that Columbia has over 5 internships each year for STEM students, and these are the technology students and the engineering students that are, learning all these things that are going to work in this space. And they come from the public schools in Upper Manhattan, and they get to spend the summer researching with the top researchers, some of the top researchers in the world in their labs. So when they go off to college and they may get a scholarship to some Ivy League, they don't feel intimidated at all by these trust fund babies with tutors and, that came from private schools. They can hang right in there, and we're hoping they'll come back and join this Silicon Valley or Silicon Harlem revolution. So
there you
thank
go.
you.
That's good. I'll tell you another great thing to do. Not only have you had this great information, but you also want to join the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce. I've done it, and I will tell you it's worth every nickel, and it's not even that much of a membership fee. So if you haven't joined and you have a company, I would wholeheartedly encourage you to do that. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the chamber. I really wouldn't. They give me this platform. I've now been put on the board, so I see the power. I'm co-hosting with the chamber the trip to Cuba that we're going to be doing in February. So there's great things that come out of this type of membership. So I encourage you to do so. You'll see anyone in this room that's with the chamber will help you with that. And I do have to acknowledge the great chairman, visionary, and our president, the great Lloyd Williams, sitting right here. Lloyd, you want to... Perhaps we'll get Lloyd to tell us one of his great stories before we leave here. But let me get back to the panel very quickly here and ask my next question. And if you guys have questions, please feel free to pitch in, raise your hand so we can acknowledge you. So let me first go, if you don't mind. So, Nicole, can you quickly sort of talk about how you're advising companies sort of on the social media platforms, and are these platforms really the next level of marketing for these companies that drive profits, or is it just a way to get people to follow you? Can you turn those followers into customers? Is there money in that game?
Yes, if you do a few things. So the thing about social media that I'm learning, and I work with my clients on it, I work on my own social media experiment. A lot of experimentation happening to see what this connection is where this connection is going to lead, where this conversation is going to lead. Is the conversation going to lead to a customer? Is the conversation going to lead to a connection of some sort that could benefit you further afield? What I'm learning is a few things. One, social media is that knock on the door. It's you have a sign that's up and someone looks at it and says, I'm interested, I like it, I'm interested, all right, what's next with that? You want to have a door. So you do want to have a social media presence. You want to have a presence in that space because that's where all the eyeballs are. So that knock on the door is important to have a door to begin with. Then when someone's knocking on the door, what's the conversation? What's the greeting? What's the hello? What's the content? And here I think that content is your character. Like, the content is the character of your brand, yourself, your business. It is that foundation. So that content is important. It's what people are looking at and what you're saying. And for me, I think from a strategic perspective, so I say, well, what are you positioning yourself for? So if you're positioning yourself for a sale, what steps do you take leading up to that sale? How many times, how frequent do you need to be in your message? How clever do you need to be in your messaging? Who are you talking to? Are you talking to are followers coming from small business? Are they home-based businesses? Are they aspirational? get a sense of the analytics. So I think that having an analytics support as well to this, so there's not a guessing game. There are analytics providers out there. I just learned of one yesterday called Capzool. And so that's a place where you can go in, input your data, run your social media, and you know where you're hot. You know where you're hot in which market, with who, with what type of customer. And in terms of social media, in terms of turning it into a profit, I think that social media is really about energy. If you put the level of energy into social media that is, I think, required to get the sale, you'll see the result. And I think what's required is showing up to social media like a business athlete, being the, whoever your idol is. For me, it's Serena. So Serena Williams is my idol athlete. How does she show up every day? I track her on Instagram. What is she doing? And how is she number one? She's number one because she's prepared beyond recognition. She is positioning herself for the win at all times. And her platform, she's on the world stage platform, and she knows it, and she's giving us 100%. So that's my idol. I run my plays like her. And so that's how we have to be on social media to get that next win. And people will reach out to you and say, how can I connect with you? The other piece is, when they ask you how they can be helpful or connect to you, have a list. Have a strategic list of, I reached out, I opened my door, I had content, they're ready to come in, and they said they're ready to invest in my company. Now, what does that mean? How much equity? What's the value of my company? Am I ready for those conversations? Because you're positioning yourself for the big win. So being ready for an extended conversation, a deeper conversation, I think is necessary for social media. It's a starter.
So I'm just going to piggyback on that and say a large part of social media, in my estimation anyway, has a lot to do with branding. Branding. Is my Spindify guys here? Where are the Spindify guys? Are you guys here? All right. There's a young company that just launched their whole sort of directory around businesses in the country. And one of the things that they're focusing on is branding their company. And I would encourage all of you who have startups or products, focus on branding. When Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all those companies were making noise, a lot of us were asking that question, how are they making money? Yeah. And they would say, don't worry about that. And that's because they wanted to make sure that their brand was recognized. A lot of the same thing we did with Silicon Harlem. When we launched Silicon Harlem, we just focused on branding, and certainly doing a lot of work. But it was important for us to have a brand that made sense and that would resonate with people. So social media helps you with that. It helps you with that tremendously.
Clayton, can I just, one more point, sorry, just about the platforms?
Step all over me.
So I'll share where I make my funds, where I make my money, where it comes from on social media. For LinkedIn, that's where I get my consulting clients. So that's where I get $10,000, $20,000 a month for consulting with executives at companies. That's where I get that vein. So what's happening on LinkedIn? LinkedIn groups, conversations, staying relevant. They have a news section. You can post news. That's a network. So that's that consulting angle. Instagram, Facebook, that's where I sell my books and my app. Instagram is just, I love Instagram. That's a place where you can show your product visually. I take my book everywhere I go, and I take a picture of it wherever it is. So it's like, where's winning? And that's just selling books, because people are using their animals, and people are following animals around, and following products, they're following brands, they're following people, and they're doing something about it after a lot of interesting, clever messaging. And then Twitter. Twitter, for me, is not where the money is made, but it's where the positioning, and it's just it's a great platform to be on. So I can't speak to Twitter leading to customers for me, but if someone else has been able to do that, I'd love to hear, because that's a very crowded market. It's a newsy information space, and I don't know if people are on Twitter because they want to buy something. I think they want to get some information and they want to get quick news.
For
But-
politicians, it's our lifeline.
Okay.
There
News.
you go.
News and information.
So we're gonna ask Ms. Pope to say a few comments, but prior to that, if you guys have questions from the audience, we want to make sure that you get your questions answered as well. We can talk about this stuff all day long. Lloyd, do you want to say a few words, please, for us? We would love that.
Just briefly, I meet a lot of incredible people and have done so over my life. I want to just tell you my strong respect, admiration, and in fact, love for Clayton Banks. I want to just tell you, in a very short period of time, we are a part of each other's families, not just each other. He wants to share, he wants to give, and he's always creative. He just finished a hackathon for us last Saturday for our youth. And we didn't say this. She does not like to be praised, and I've been smacked too many times by her when that, but we have the best borough president. Okay? But let me just quickly tell you this. You see her here, you see her on TV, etc. I've always had the greatest respect and regard for her long before she was the borough president. But quick story, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, Jerry, I am on 111th Street and Riverside Drive. It is 11 p.m. at night. I'm there with my wife and Diane Henderson, who's in the back. I think Stephanie's around. Pitch dark, okay? But there is a stargazing, a moon watching thing taking place in the park. So when we get there, you gotta walk down deep in the park, pitch back, Riverside Drive, etc. And as we're getting out the car, in the pitch black, I look across the street, and who's coming there? Absolutely by herself is our borough president. And we went down, and we climbed down, and we went all the way down, and had the most amazing experience of looking at Saturn and the stars. So that sometimes those types of stories tell you more than anything else. Dwayne, good to see you, man. I was trying to holler to you all day. Let me leave you on 2 quick points so you can continue. One, on Harlem, Havana, we don't have a lot of time to talk about it, so I won't take that time. But you should reach out to Clayton to get more information on this. Quick piece is what's happening on an annual basis beginning this year. Havana will be coming to Harlem. And Havana's coming to Harlem from the week of the 15th through the 21st of August next week, with 2 of the top Afro-Cuban jazz bands, one of the top Cuban dance companies, 2 of the top fashion designers, one of the top fine artists, and one of their top chefs. And we're going to be doing things. So get more information about that. There'll be a lot of public events at Jazzmobile on Harlem Day, Summer in the City, the Harlem Summer Stage at 125th Street. And what we're going to do with Silicon Harlem is in February, we'll be going to Cuba. So just annually, just follow it. I think you'll appreciate our logic, that in the winter, we'll be going to Havana, okay? And then in the summer, they'll be coming here. So let me just say this to you. I don't think you know how important you are, okay? So I'm going to leave you with this point for someone who Gale Brewer and I loved very much. I hope you do know or will remember the name Percy Sutton. Percy E. Sutton. So I want to tell you and hopefully leave this message with you. Percy and I were closer than close. I won't take you through that, but from the time I was 9 years old, I met him, and we continued on that journey until he passed. Please remember this. Diane and Clayton will tell you I always have a Percy Sutton 101 story. So here's my story for you. Percy one day, and I always call him Mr. Sutton, Percy one day said to me, we were talking about what was happening, and he said, Lloyd, and this is for you. He said, the key word is the word common. Okay, so what did that mean? He said, if you find out what you have in common, and everyone in this room has something in common. You're in this room right now, okay? So if you find out what you have in common, you will become communal. And you will become communal because you're communicating. Common, the foundation. So from common to communicating, to becoming communal, and if you do that, you will have a community. So the community has many faces, it has many languages, it has many levels of education and economics. This is a community in this room right now. So backtrack and communicate, see what you have in common, and this is going to be very, very important because I don't need to tell you how people are trying to divide us, all of us. And some of us, too many of us, are going for it, okay? And we're all losing in the process. So thank you. Clayton, thank you all for coming out. Thank you to my borough president, to Tony Rogers, who helped us get into this whole thing of technology. Thank you, brother. Have a great time. I'm going back to work. Okay.
Thank you, Lloyd. Lloyd Williams. So we're going to open it up for questions from the audience.
Clayton,
we have one
can
right
I
here.
quickly
I'm sorry.
make a comment
Come
about
on,
companies and
Pope.
social media? Because I think it's important, and I want to say it from the perspective of a buyer.
Yes.
It's important, obviously, that companies have both a presence in social media as well as can understand and navigate technology when they're trying to do business with a large concern. If you give me your business card and you tell me you want to do business with Columbia, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm not going to call you up. I'm going to go and look at your website. I want to see how much I can learn about you from your website. So it needs to be able to inform me enough to give me information about what you do and how you do it for me to pick up that phone and further the connection. The other thing is that large entities often do business through, they don't call you. They're going to send you an email with some information or a bid. If you're not constantly checking your email to see what's coming in and you contact them 2 weeks later, you've missed out. The other thing is when you're doing business with a large concern, we have procurement and payment systems. That's all done through software. It's not somebody mailing you an invoice anymore. You're going to get a link to our system. We'll be able to push things out to you. You'll be able to push submittals to us. We'll send approvals to you. If you can't navigate that framework, you're not going to do well doing business with a large organization. So I say this to say it's all important. Having a website may not get you the job, but not having one will definitely not get you the job.
That's some good advice. I'm telling you. That's some stuff. So you want to meet her. Jessica, do you want to say anything? I'm going to do a hard turn right here. How many people would love to raise money for their business? Right? It's not easy. Some of us still want to figure how to crack that code. Well, we have someone here who has done that. Can you give us just a quick, a couple of things? Because I know you got to run, so I want to take advantage of you. Tell us a little bit about what you think young companies should be doing to raise capital.
Wow. To raise capital, well, it depends on your business. Like I actually try to stay away from generalities sometimes because I've been involved in software businesses through my parents and like through my father, and like I've been involved in more service-based businesses, and now I do hardware, and everyone is a different bag. Also, what you look like does matter because there's something called pattern matching. So I can tell you if you look very different from what the pattern is, like what the solution is, right? And how to raise. We were able to raise $7 million with our Series A, which is significant. The average amount of money that a Black woman can raise is $34,000. So so there's and it ranges. It can be a lot of difficult things. The first thing that you're going to want to do if you want to raise money is know when your cell phone should be off and know when it should be on. Because so the first thing you want to do is really make sure you understand your value proposition as a company and why investor should want to work with you, and be very honest with yourself. I hear a lot of people, they just you have to become very comfortable with ignoring mediocrity as like just because you exist and because you've been through hardship that people should pay attention to you. No one cares because and just no one cares. Like they care about green. That's the color they care about. You need to understand the sustainability of your business. You need to understand your business model. You need to have done the research and be able to explain to this individual that regardless of what you look like or where you're working or what you've been through, this is why your business is going to be a success. This is why it's going to scale. And then you can add in additional things where it's like, oh, and also, because of my background or experience, I refuse to fail. Like they like to hear that, but you have to start with the strong business model, start with the strong value proposition. You should always, kind of be in pitch mode when you decide you want to start getting an investor. You never know who could be an angel. You never know who, and by that I mean an actual angel investor, which is a term for individuals who are able to invest and get equity in a company. So you want to always be ready to do your pitch and explain what your company can do, and be open to those opportunities. I also think it's really important to just understand the structure of what it means to actually raise money. So you don't want to just start looking for money if you don't understand if you're doing a warranty, convertible debt, or equity. If you don't understand what a cap is. Somebody has to be the educated. It doesn't matter who you're getting the money from, but someone, and it should be you, needs to understand what you're doing. You are giving away part of your company, right, for something. So make sure you're Google. There's a bunch of great books that you can read, a lot of things to Google. You should be getting your PhD in Google as an entrepreneur in general, because that's how you learn things. But I definitely think that if you understand your value proposition, you're always ready to pitch, and you understand the structure of what you want, get a lawyer. Even if it's just a friend, you should have a lawyer somewhere near you that can help you with these things as well. Those are critical. And then I think the fourth thing would be to, let me think about what was really critical for us. Find evangelists and advisors. I am not like a natural, I'm what I like to call an extroverted introvert. Like I can speak to a lot of people and it's fine, but my preference is to be in the lab tinkering and just kind of like building my stuff, right? So what I do is find amazing people who have access to networks and who can be inspired by what you do, as long as you're an authentic person, you have an authentic leadership quality, and you have an authentic concept, and you're hardworking. Find people who can help you get in front of the right people to tell your story, and then see how these people will just naturally want to be a part of your story. Don't try to do it all by yourself. It's honestly, it's not worth it. It's not efficient, and in some ways, it's almost impossible.
Thank you for that.
Clayton, can I just give them one piece of advice?
Gale, do you have any parting words for the audience here?
No, just to thank you. I have to go do New York 1 on zoning. So I think there's we all need to work together on entrepreneurship. The government has to play a very important role, not just for product and service, but in making sure that the opportunities are there. I do want to say New York City is rich in data, and it's another place that companies can take advantage of. I would like to see more support for the schools, as I indicated. We're working on data science, trying to figure out how young people can learn STEM and STEAM using the data. LA's been doing that. We want to bring that to New York. We're doing it in 2 high schools. So, my interest is figuring out how to work with the small businesses and the large businesses, but don't forget about the schools in particular. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Gale. So we're going to take, someone been waiting a while here for a question. Winston, come on up, but you go ahead and ask your question.
How you doing, everyone? My name is Tafari. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tafari. I'm an aspiring entrepreneur in the infancy stage. I've been doing my due diligence and doing a lot of research to bookkeeping and marketing. I work in the software DevOps field, as to say. I had a question posed towards the woman on the right side of the panel that mentioned marketing on the internet. Okay. Regarding gathering metrics from like Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, and those, how to curate the metrics so you can correlate it to your mission statement for your business. Like I know nowadays, and I probably set it up in consultation jobs that I've had, but for the actual looking at the data itself, what's your perspective from a high level, certain points that you looked at that certain, like your business benefited from looking at those metrics from the social media sites?
So I track metrics on 2 of my products. I track on my app through Flurry, and so Flurry Analytics gives me a sense of the persona of the users that are using the app. So I get to see whether they're men, women, what age, if they're soccer moms, if they identify as athletes, sports. All of that comes through because the analytics is playing out with that. So I'm able to look at my messaging. I'm able to change my content to speak to those. My blogs can reflect who that persona is. So that's an example of how I'm using analytics. Is that answering your question, or?
Yeah, it does in the overview. That's all right. It's cool. No, yeah, it answers it because on a granular perspective, there's a lot of technologies out there that's changing every day, but I wanted to figure out, you seem like you're successful. You mentioned $10,000 a month from one aspect that you were getting, I guess.
I'm also a lawyer and a consultant, so for 15 years, that's what you could garner in consulting fees if you package yourself and work with clients and have a track record. So
and I'm just saying, just from the actual practical, I know you can't go into the breakdown right now in front of everybody, honestly, but if you had like an outline that how you perceive the actual data that you may have you may know off top.
Well, I actually wrote a book and an app that you can input your data and you can make decisions about it once you've gathered it. So you input your data into 12 playbooks, and you can decide based upon the information that you have what your next move is. But that's all your call.
No, because it's my business. Yeah,
it's your business, and you know it better than anyone else. So you're stronger as a business athlete because you know it, you have the data, you know the market, and now you can make one move in one lane more effectively.
All right.
I'm going to steal the mic just for a second to give the folks here who had raised their hand and said they were interested in getting funding and investment. There is an organization, they're a nonprofit called ICIC, and they bring small new companies together each year in 3 cities across the country. They do a 2-day training with them to teach them how to present themselves, and then they bring funders and investors in on the 3rd day and do matchups. So if you Google ICIC and you want to understand how the process works, that would be a great way to find out about it.
A lot of stuff being shared here. Good stuff.
Hi, I have a quick question for Nicole. I'm wondering, you said your book was called Winning?
Yes.
Now, hashtag winning or just winning?
Hashtag winning.
Okay, no, because I just researched it, and Jack Welch's book came up, and I didn't know if that was on purpose, because I was like, wow, that's really good marketing for yourself, because it's Jack Welch is incredible, as you know,
Well, it's funny. I always wanted to name it Winning, and because it's about what the trending business growth playbooks are, I put a hashtag in front of it. because that's what's happening now. So Jack Welch, icon.
No, I found it fascinating.
yeah,
I was like, that is like a genius marketing move. So I wasn't sure if that was on purpose or I was like that just came into you.
Fell into it. Thank
Really?
you.
That's incredible.
Okay. Next.
Hi, I'm Steph. I have a biochemical company and I'm also a science educator. This is for the attorney. What is the best equity to utilize or set up for an early stage / seed company?
I guess I would need to know some more information in terms of, do you own 100% of the company yourself now? Yes. Okay, so you don't have any current in equity investors. Is it equity, or someone want to invest in your business? Has
It's early stage biochemical company based in New York, so.
But no investors at this point, right,
Not
Steph?
yet, we're reaching out to them, so I'm like looking at stuff ahead of time, what's the best equity, let's say funding, all these things are coming out.
So what I've done with early stage companies that are looking to go out and potentially pitch themselves, they start putting together pitch books, and we also start at some point working with PPM or a private placement memorandum to get them at least all of the information about their company in one place so that when someone is ready to invest, you're ready. So what I do is I put together a data room, and it could be an electronic data room. And your electronic data room has all of the elements that an investor would want to know, from a high level, what it is, to the documentation in folders. So you keep all this information. And if this is a bit much, I'll just give you an example. So your company is incorporated. Where are your incorporation documents? Are they in one place that shows you as the 100% owner and the mission of your company? Your company, whether it has trademarks or patents, where's your trademark and patent information? Is that all in one place? That's value in your company. So you're going to document that value and have that as evidence of your value. Your financial statements, if you're having board meetings with yourself, your meeting minutes, right? Having those board meetings all in one place with yourself. Your top 10 customers. So you're in business, you have customers. Who are your top 10 customers? Having a list of your customers, because your investors are going to want to know who your top 10 customers are, and can you scale with them, grow with them, or is that a customer persona that you can go out and find more customers like them? So those are things that I would start with, and that will give you some confidence, which I think is necessary when you're out looking for money, so that you're ready for those conversations.
So let me just piggyback on that, and Sandeep, if you want to comment. We got a man on the panel here. He ought to get a word in somehow. We're gonna figure this out. But let's.
Okay. No, these are all valid.
Yeah,
valid
yes,
points.
definitely talk
points.
in general. And Steph, you can see these guys afterwards as well. If you can stay around, they'll be here. So go ahead, Sandeep.
I was going to say that, you don't necessarily need to go raise capital when you're starting up a business. You can look for a customer. I think that's a really important thing to look for, is look for a customer to go get money to start your business. And I think a lot of people sometimes read the media and the newspaper and so forth and say, oh, I've got to raise, $2 million before I can go start a business. Without that, I won't be able to do it. And you get lost going through this whole process of raising capital, and you lose sight of, I'm trying to sell a product and I'm trying to bring in some revenue, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. So I think that if you're starting off, the question should really be is, who is your first customer? Get your first customer in, everything else will flow after that. And I think it's a very important point to look at, because a lot of us just get discouraged then because we can't raise capital, and it's hard. And I think it's important to kind of keep the spirit alive and say, no, I'm an entrepreneur and I want to succeed, and I do have a service that I can offer.
It's such a great point. I've had 4 startups. The first one, totally capitalized, raised $30 million. It was really a lot of fun. You had nice furniture, nice office bay, all that kind of good stuff. The second one was by getting a customer. And I got to tell you, that was so much more gratifying. And was just built through operations. That's a good point, Sandeep. We have a question here, and then we're going to come over here.
Good afternoon. My name's Kareem. I wanted to know, one, how do we get access to market research? Because I think when people start, that's one of the biggest things, more than just Google, getting actual data so we can say there's a need, there's a market, because I think that's one of the challenges I ran into. And also a kind of a safe place to collaborate, because a lot of times you'll go to like a pitch event or a business meeting and trying to find out what other people are doing, they think you're going to steal their idea. And it's like, I've been working on 2 years on my thing. I don't have time to take yours, but maybe you can help me in something that I'm doing with me. So where can we find a safe place for people to exchange ideas and collaborate and also get market research?
What's your business again for market research? What's your type of company?
I do all IT services for small businesses right now.
IT services? Okay.
So Silicon Harlem is a good place.
That's right.
I think the question you asked is a good one. One of the questions that we were hopefully we'll get to, we've got to close this down pretty soon, is how private companies can collaborate. It's a really good question. I know that there's plenty of companies in this room right now that would be open to collaboration or even partnership. So definitely talk to me afterwards. I like that question. Go ahead, sir.
So I'll introduce myself. I run a financial services company. I'm actually a member firm of the NFA and FINRA, so I'm a brokerage firm. So I could have kicked in on some of the funding questions, but actually I've saved the best till last, and it's this. So everyone thinks by perception that if you raise money or you go public or you come in with a big fundraiser, you're doing well, but actually you're not, because what you should do is succeed organically, okay? When you raise money, you're leveraging your business. You're actually borrowing or you're betting against the future. In other words, you're saying that I can do better with this money than the interest rates or the servicing your debt would cost me. But the best way to go is essentially in your first 2 years is just work with organic growth and succeed internally. Don't sell the farm, don't leverage yourself, don't borrow a lot of money. It's a great deal and it makes you liquid, but it's not the best deal for the business.
I just wanted to, that's a good point. I agree. I think I just wanted to answer your question on marketing. I think a good way of doing this really is the old-fashioned way. When you go to meetups at there are NYC meetups or people who work for companies, large organizations, and I think you'd have to just simply talk about what you're doing, and you have to say, look, I'm offering this service. Is there anyone that you can connect me to at your company? And I think it's a really great way to build business. It's a very simple way, but I think it works. I mean, in my own business, I've seen that very helpful. So I think that you have to actually physically go out. You can't be behind the scenes, behind social media and everything. You physically have to go out and meet people, especially early on, so they know who you are and they have a relationship and trust with you. And then with regard to your question about collaboration, you're absolutely right. I think no one's going to steal anyone's ideas. If they are those type of people, they feel like, oh, this is my idea, you're going to steal it. I think those are not people you want to be around. And that's all it is. So you got to be very smart about who you collaborate with and who you spend time with. And so if you get this vibe internally, that this is not going right, just forget it and move on to the next person. It's that easy.
I'd like to give you a suggestion on market research, and this is what I tell businesses when they're trying to figure out who they want to do business with and research, companies that they could be a good customer for. It's a no-cost solution. Get a New York City library card. The New York City library system is arguably one of the finest in the world, and they have private databases which, as a card holder, you can have access to. You can even access them remotely if you sign up for that. So you don't actually go to the library to get access, and you can learn lots of things about many different companies, whatever information you're trying to get. It can help a great deal before you go and spend money to buy data.
Okay, next question.
Yes. Hi, my name is Marla Curry. I work in IT. We build enterprise level websites and mobile apps. This is not necessarily a question, it's more just sort of a clarification to round out a discussion about social media. I spent 2 decades doing big New York advertising, and I am a web strategist, a web marketing strategist. I'm certified as a search engine marketer, so I think I know a little bit about from where I speak. One thing about social media, and I always like to clarify for people that are interested in social media, and the young lady who talked about social media, she talked around it a little bit, and maybe some of you guys picked it up. social media takes a hell of a lot of time to do. Yes. And
Did I say Serena? I said Serena.
You'll hear people who do social media for a living talk about 25 hours a week on social media to do it right. And big companies that have social media programs for their brands will have 5 to 10 people working social media. So again, my background is advertising, and I always want to hold up advertising, and I'm talking online advertising, as the way to build your business. It's not with social media. Social media is fine and you need it. You gotta be out there. But if you want someone knocking on your door, not 6 months or a year from now, but tomorrow, invest in online advertising, because that's where you're gonna get the bang for your buck. My company, Tag on the Web, happens to have a do-it-yourself digital media and digital creative. You can get digital creative starting for $49. So there you go. Advertising is the way to go.
I believe we have everything in this room to build $1 billion business right now. Seriously, I mean, there's like experts all in here.
I co-sign that, and I want to just add to the ad side, there is definitely an ad strategy necessary. I just put a free ad, a small biz ad on Craigslist. It's free to put an ad on Craigslist, and I got a bump from that. So I'm experimenting too on the ad side to see which ad, what, where, and I think that's really important. So I found that out. I thought it cost money to put something on Craigslist, but they have a free option for small biz.
We're going to take a few more questions. Go ahead.
Okay. My name is Andrew Green. I actually got here late, but I just built a bag that has the ability to watch every human being. When you put this bag on, it has the ability to tell you if someone is close to you or not. If they walk too close to you, your bag would vibrate, sending a signal to your smartphone or your smartwatch. It has a sensor light in the back that allows to tell you what's behind of you if it's at night. Now, my question to all of you in here right now, because this is a $1 billion platform that's about to take off. Can you point me in the right direction, or the place or the people that could actually get this initiative off the ground?
You're in the right place. Ms. Pope, you want to offer any encouragement to this young man?
Well, in listening to you,
You have a demo here, by the way? Oh, man.
Oh, no.
Oh, man. Oh.
Well,
I always got somebody in my back. All right, but anyway, let's offer you some encouraging words, and see me afterwards.
I'll certainly give you my card, but one of the things I was thinking as you were talking about that was, wow, wouldn't that be something great to give to our female students at orientation? I mean, think about who your audience is and, figure that out. But Kim might have some good information for you. The other thing that made me think about, she may have left, was that you really need to get that patented before you tell too many people about it. Yeah.
Okay, next question. Where's the mic? Okay.
Hi. Is anybody here a member of a credit union? Raise hands. Not that many. How many people know what credit unions are? Like, how many people know that credit unions can do small business lending? Okay. So I'm here to. I don't work for this thing. I wrote about it. I'm a journalist, and I write about community development. So I know that the New York State CDFI Coalition and the Federation of Community Development Credit Unions, which is based here in this city, they're going to launch a website in the fall. So be on the lookout for it. It's going to be a small business lending platform that will let you type in where your business is and find the nearest mission-driven, community-driven business lender. It's often a credit union. Sometimes it's City National Bank on 125th Street. Sometimes it's Neighborhood Trust Federal Credit Union further uptown. These are mission-based lenders, and a lot of folks don't know that they can do small business lending, and they're out there around the city. So
this is information, people. Yeah. Make sure you see that man afterwards, and if you didn't write down what he was saying, he can repeat it, because money is money. If you get it from a credit union, great. We got a question.
Good afternoon. My name is Jahan.
Jahan is here.
What's up, Clayton? I actually had it's more of a request, and if you don't mind, Clayton, I'm going to engage you also in this. We've talked a lot about community and the network effect and sort of, coming together and using each other's resources. But it's always sort of been, the end point has been, how can we make more money off of it? How can we use it to sort of grow our business? And my question for the four of you is, can you each tell a story of personal experience where maybe the community came together and was a huge impact, but maybe the impact that you saw in your life or in your business wasn't financial, but still gratifying and important?
Who wants to start?
I can start.
Go ahead.
I had an experience just last week. We had a group come to us and ask us to use the side of a Columbia-owned building to paint a mural where they would engage kids from the community and lots of folks from nonprofit groups. And it was a homage to Yuri Kobayashi and Malcolm X and their wonderful friendship that they had over many years and how they really started this revolution right here in Harlem. And so went through a lot of stuff with our general counsel, risk management, wanted them to buy a $20,000 life insurance policy. And we were able to knock down some of those things and say, the benefit of this mural and kids participating and learning about this part of our heritage trumps those things. So no, they're not going to do that, and we're going to go forward and do this. And we were able to give them that permission, so that felt good.
Great. I'm going to tell a quick story, and then we're going to move to another question. So my quick story is on Silicon Harlem. So Bruce and I had Silicon Harlem back in the early, mid-2000s. So it's been around for a while as a concept, but we never shared it. We kept it sort of cerebral, right? We would come here to Columbia University and talk about our idea for Silicon Harlem. We would go down to D.C. and talk to the Congress about the need for Silicon Harlem. And when Barack Obama ran for president and became president, he created what's called the Recovery Act. And within the Recovery Act, he had a large amount of money that was going towards broadband and technology ideas. We bidded for it. We bidded for it for the first time under the name Silicon Harlem in partnership with Columbia University. It was a $20 million ask. We made it to the final round, but we lost to the city and state of New York. And they got $70 million, and you guys can tell me what they did with it. But anyway, what we learned in that process, 2009, was, it's great to write, we were writing white papers and op-eds and all types of stuff, but we weren't making any money. And so we ended up having to put Silicon Harlem on the shelf for a while and go back to make some money. And in 2013, going to meetups all over the city, predominantly in Brooklyn or in downtown, we were like, hey, why don't we do a meetup in Harlem? Let's just see what happens. And at that time, there were 0 co-working spaces. There were 0 incubators, 0 accelerators. There just wasn't much of a tech movement in our minds in 2013. We did a meetup in February in 2013, and 500 people came out. And that's when we realized, right at that moment, that it wasn't about us being the smart guys running around Congress and all this other stuff. That helps, but what really made the difference was galvanizing the community. And when it galvanizing the community, what happens? All of a sudden, we got a call from Bloomberg's office. We got a call from Charlie Rangel's office. We started hooking up with all the political power within the city, because they were going, you guys, what's going on uptown? You actually have a constituency developing around technology and innovation. We ended up starting to do a meetup every month, and never was less than 400, 500, 600 people. And it still happens to this very day. That doesn't make money. But what it did, it led us to a level of legitimacy to where when the city wants something done, and they want something done uptown, and they want something done uptown that deals with technology innovation, they include us in those conversations. We bid on those jobs, and we actually win those contracts. Is that good? Okay, thank you. Next question, Vaughn. We got one up here. We're going to take 2 more questions.
Hi, my name is Eartha Watts Hicks. I'm the editor-in-chief of Harlem World Magazine and also an independent book publisher. And my question is pertaining to STEAM. How does the arts factor play out in STEAM?
So I'm sorry my young people had to leave, but one of the things we have been taking them through in this particular summer's program is something called augmented reality, which is very similar to, somewhat similar to virtual reality. But for those of you who are not familiar with augmented reality, it's the idea of being able to use your smartphone to bring up digital data that's virtual. So you need a picture that you're scanning, so the picture triggers additional digital assets that you can enjoy. So the young people worked on these projects all summer. So we asked them to do things about Harlem. So one young lady did a whole augmented reality around the Apollo. So she has a picture of the Apollo, and when you hold your phone up with the app, it brings up Ella Fitzgerald and all types of other cool facts and figures about the Apollo. Well, she had to design that. She had to use her artistic mind to figure out how that would display, as well as her own research on the actual landmark. So art is a very big part of what we do when we talk technology. We look at a website. There's some websites that look like crap. And then there's websites that look beautiful. Jerry Pollard, who's in the audience, he designs websites. There's a lot of you design websites. You know there's a difference between a website that looks really good and a website that looks really bad. So art is a part of it. Let me be very clear about technology. Technology is not a job. Hello? Technology is not a job. Technology goes across every discipline. No matter what job you have, even if in the barber shop, there's technology involved. So I want to make that clear that we don't want to overemphasize the words of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or even art. It's really about what problem are you facing and how are you solving it. So it's more of the way you think in the 21st century. Back in the 20th century, when we didn't have the sort of digital tools that we have now, we had to use a lot of our instinct. Today we use algorithms. All right, Clayton's become a geek again. All right. We have a question. There we go.
Hi, my name's Robert Anthony. I'm a technology journalist. We've met before.
Yes,
Lots of Silicon Harlem meetings. You were saying something about, well, a lot of people had something to say about social media. My advice is simply don't overdo it. Do what works for you. Take a piece of it. If it's Instagram, if it's working for you, keep that. If it's Twitter, if it's working for you, keep that. 30-second example. I joined Pinterest just to write a story about it. I just wanted to, see what other people were doing. So I started posting some of my reports from my tech events. I cover cell phones and tablets. So I put up a new product, and I kept doing that. Long story short, today I'm one of the top 250 people in the world on Pinterest. I have 1.2 million followers simply because I played with it once. And so,
Did that come out right?
Well, filthy minds. But my advice is...
She's left her business cards. If you want to do business with Columbia, this is the one. All right. They'll be here. Give us a couple more minutes. We're going to close off this panel. Let them say their final remarks in one moment here. Did I have one last burning question, Vaughn?
Can I give you my
Oh, where? Where's it? Who's got the mic?
Yes.
Okay. Say it quickly. We'll take one or two more, but
thank you.
be quick about it, either question or comment.
Thank you. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I came in a bit late myself, so I'm just trying to listen into everything and trying to gather all the information. You were mentioning as far as technology go across all the disciplines. Today's my day off. I'm a nurse by trade, so I've been doing healthcare technology, information technology since 2006. So literally, I haven't wrote a nursing note in about pretty much 10 years. So everything's pretty much been technology, as you were mentioning. And I also wanted to just address the issue as far as, it's great because, my kids and, whoever we have, nieces and nephews and those under the 30 age gap, year of age,
grew up with the technology. They're able to adapt to the technology. They're able to grasp the technology a lot quicker. But I haven't heard about anyone as far as, targeting middle age, as far as, those who don't have access to the technology, or, trying to set up or create workshops, seminars, or programs, to get into the IT sector for those, 30 and above or 35 and above.
So I'll tell you.
So I kind of wanted to kind of grasp that because I know they are leaning towards the younger, which is fine. But then what about...
We have is running with City College. You go through their continuing professional studies division where we've set up beginner courses around HTML, beginner courses on all types of things, even the Microsoft suite of software. We also work with the Chamber on demystifying technology for senior citizens. We're working with Gale Brewer right now on trying to figure out how to bring tech centers that are focused on middle-aged to senior citizens that can go in, get help. Working with the New York City Library to make our libraries in Uptown accessible with programming that will help people. And I personally help people as much as I possibly can. So your point is a good one, including we're working with young people that have actually, you'll be surprised, young people know how to use it, they don't know how to use it, all right? They don't know how to build on it, they don't know how to make it, they don't know how to solve problems with it. So it's more than when my father used to tell me to program his, VCRs and everything else. It's more than that. It's how do we build that stuff? We talk about social media. Well, I'm tired of talking about social media too. Why not make the next Facebook? When I started a company called Sega Channel. I love video games, but I can make video games. So the answer is Uptown, we're trying to take care of that as much as possible, making it as free as possible to give as many people access. One quick note about diversity. Diversity is not ethnicity. Diversity is not about male, female. Diversity is everything. And I've been coined at the UN of saying diversity actually is not a problem. Change your mind, all right? Let me give you this reframe. Diversity is an opportunity. It's up to you. I don't care if you're not diverse. I really don't care because you're not going to survive. It just doesn't work. Diversity is an opportunity. So you may start your company out with your friends, maybe you all went to the same schools, maybe you're from the same backgrounds, all that stuff, but at some point, your ideas are going to get stale. How many people in here are left-handed? How do you see the world? Differently, right? So that's how diversity works. I got a friend that's blind. She's a PhD. When we talk about products, she sees things that I don't see. I got a friend that has a prosthetic. He talks about how he has to get around. So we make products and services that have to be built around that. Diversity is an opportunity. And I'm only saying that because senior citizens should have a word in this world. People who've dropped out of school for whatever reason should have a word. It's not about intelligence. It's about access and exposure. We're going to take your last question right here because you've been staring at me, and I like that. Wait for the microphone.
Thanks very much. I came late last year, and I made sure I came early this year. And thank you for all of your information and cutting to the chase about the dollars. I was absolutely intrigued when you said LinkedIn and you mentioned 10,000 to whatever it was. But I noticed that there was no mention of Facebook, and I was interested as to how much money you can make on Facebook, what's the process, and why you didn't mention it.
I think you can answer that. Let's get you to jump in there.
Yeah, I didn't want to stand up and make a plug, but yeah, you can definitely make money. There's 200 million people in the United States on Facebook, and anybody that tells you that people aren't on Facebook anymore, or even Instagram because they're on the same platform. But I mean, we've helped companies go from making $100,000 a month to $3.5 million. It can happen. I mean, mainly on the e-commerce side, but there's other ways to distribute content that Nicole was talking about. There's definitely ways, but the biggest thing, and Nicole hinted around, you got to understand how to test it. And I've seen a lot of companies waste a lot of money testing the wrong way, and they get frustrated and know how to do it. So Facebook is tricky, but you can do it. So if you want, I'm happy to give some advice. Or
what's your name and company?
Josh Coleman, Up and Coming Media. And I definitely want to connect with you, and I'm happy to come teach
Let's do
some
it.
of these
Let's do it.
secrets that I've learned. So anyway, sorry, but yes, you can make money.
That's what's up. All right, we're going to do some closing remarks from our panelists. I'm going to thank you guys in just a moment because I have something to say. But you two, let's start with Sandeep. Sandeep, closing comments with this audience?
I think I'd like to leave everyone here with just one piece of advice. Just don't give up. I think a lot of people get frustrated when they don't get clients or don't see money rolling in, and I think you have to have this this ambition of making sure you're going to succeed, and surround yourself with a community of people who will support you. So get your friends, your family, tell them what's going on in your life. Don't be hidden, and really take their energy so that you can sort of move forward. Because it's a tough journey, but once you start, it becomes a lot easier, and that's kind of it.
Thank you.
I'm spending all my life and my business and personal life working with entrepreneurs on daily wins, getting a win every day. And so I think everybody can speak for themselves as to what a win is. And I think you get to your win by mastering strategy and having this sense of you know what your inside game is, you know what your strengths are, you also know what the market is, and you know how to connect with the market to get to your end. And so I believe everyone in this room is a master strategist, and you can continue to master your strategy by working it out, working your mindset out every day, waking up with this winning on your mind. And on the strategic partnership side, I think we can all come together and work together and be stronger together, but I think we only get there if you have a clear understanding of what your winning list is, and not to negotiate on an empty stomach. Negotiate full of ideas, full of value, full of knowing who you are and the value of your business. Negotiate with a full stomach and negotiate with someone else with a full stomach, and you all will do fine together.
All right. So I want to thank just a couple of quick people. So first of all, this event has been streamed. We've been streaming it across siliconharlem.net. And our award-winning streaming guru over there is named Jolie McPhee. Jolie, wave to everyone. So we always have him stream our events. And it will also be rebroadcast on our site. So you'll be able to watch the whole thing entirety and tell your friends to check it out as well. I want to thank Columbia University for hosting us and all the crew that helped us. So give them a hand. I want to quickly thank the Greater Harlem Chamber and all that they do for Harlem and all that they do for us at Silicon Harlem, and all those who set up the food and the drinks and help guide everything. Give the Greater Harlem Chamber a hand. Winston and Marco and all. Most importantly, I want to thank you guys for coming out. This is the only way. You know, if we can all connect together, this is a way to help each other. The world will be just a tremendous place as it already is. It's our generation now to really build those 21st century companies that have a level of sustainability. You know, we can build, quick hits, but what's really important that we have companies that last. Let me tell you quickly why. If you look up the top 25 companies that have thrived over the last, or just are thriving, all those companies are 25 years or older. Okay, you can throw Facebook in there, but when it comes to the things of fairness, of diversity, of inclusion, you're going to find companies that are 25, 50, 100 years old. Why? Because it takes time to figure those things out. But we're living in a different era where those things can be figured out quickly now. And I encourage all of us to work with each other, help each other, share with each other in order to make our businesses thrive, because that's what's going to create a sustainable and vibrant community that creates basically economic prosperity for all. So with that, I want to thank you. Let's do it again. And mark your calendar, October 21st. That's a Friday, so no excuses. we're going to be in Harlem having our tech conference. Thank you very much. Really, really appreciate it.
I actually didn't bring mine, but I'll shoot you a message.
Columbia's card is on the thing here. It's okay.
We need a better presence on the internet.